When you have a long career in football, there will be games that you need reminding that you played in. Days that were unremarkable and uneventful quickly slip out your mind. But there will always be matches that stay with you forever, no matter how long ago they were. Days when you remember every little detail. They tend to be when you achieved something significant or saw something out of the ordinary. One little trigger will take you right back. That is what happened on Tuesday. Watching Real Madrid against Juventus, I started thinking about an England under-21 game in which I was involved, away to Portugal, in March 2003. That was the night Cristiano Ronaldo opened my eyes to a different way of playing football. We had a decent team then. Gareth Barry, Joe Cole, Michael Carrick and Jermaine Defoe all started, but we knew we were coming up against a special player. The talk before the game, though, was not about Ronaldo. We were more worried about Ricardo Quaresma. Nobody had heard of Ronaldo. Quaresma did not disappoint. He was magnificent and kept hitting these 50-yard balls across the field, but Ronaldo was ridiculous. He was so good. He would control those sweeping passes from Quaresma from the opposite flank, with his back, before setting off towards goal at unbelievable speed. You could only feel for Lloyd Samuel and Paul Konkeski, who were our full-backs. They were run ragged and by the end, we lost 4-2 and Ronaldo scored. So when he arrived in the Premier League later that year, I knew from that night what to expect from Ronaldo, with all the tricks and flicks. But I will be honest, I never anticipated that he would become arguably the greatest center-forward we have ever seen and one of the two best players to ever live. Now, admittedly, there is an area of his game that still must be improved. Only a select few of us have successfully executed a bicycle kick in the Champions League, and while his goal against Juventus was good, I am happy to impart my wisdom if he wants his next attempt to be better. Seriously, we are privileged to be watching a football phenomenon, and I think the reaction of the Juventus supporters, who rose to their feet to recognize that unbelievable strike, was a measure of what he has achieved. The only time I've ever seen a stadium give a standing ovation to a visiting player before was when the Brazilian Ronaldo scored a hat-trick for Real Madrid at Old Trafford in 2003. It was a class gesture by the Juve faithful last week, but totally deserved because the Portuguese is on another level. The numbers and his ruthlessness set him apart. Every week, every big game, you know he is going to produce and the goals keep coming. Ronaldo is absolutely single-minded, and I saw firsthand how he will let nothing get in his way of winning. During the 2006 World Cup quarter-final in Gelsenkirchen, we couldn't believe the brutal way he got Wayne Rooney sent off. It did not matter one little bit that they played together for Manchester United. Ronaldo, below, was intent on getting Wayne a red card, but that was glimpsed into his world. He will not entertain the idea of losing, and I am convinced that what Lionel Messi does for Barcelona drives on Ronaldo. How many times have you seen Messi score a hat-trick one night and then Ronaldo do the same 24 hours later? It can't be a coincidence. I never got to see Diego Maradona play, other than on TV. I have seen only clips of Johan Cruyff and Pelé and read about the feats of Alfredo Di Stefano and Ferenc Puskás. But I honestly believe Ronaldo and Messi are the two greatest players who have ever breathed. A few weeks ago, I referred to the fact that I will enjoy telling my grandchildren one day that I shared a pitch with Messi. It was during a Champions League game for Liverpool in 2007, but I will say the same about Ronaldo. People love discussing which one of the two is the best, and it is certainly interesting. I have always been in Messi's camp, as I feel his talents are God-given and natural, while Ronaldo has worked relentlessly to make himself invincible with that incredible physical strength. Really, though, the argument about who is better should stop. We do not know how much longer we are going to see them, and we should just enjoy what they are doing without trying to make one of them second best. These players have provided countless memories for countless people, whether it was with a trick or a flick in a little game or a goal to win a trophy. Do not separate them. Savor them. The best atmosphere I have ever played in was the 2007 Champions League semi-final for Liverpool against Chelsea. And it looked like Wednesday night at Anfield was on par. It was almost old school, with people hanging off lampposts and bus shelters to welcome the team on Anfield Road. I am not, it should be stressed, condoning any of the behavior that saw Manchester City's coach smashed up, but the atmosphere inside the stadium definitely had an influence. As the Liverpool team raised their game, it was obvious it had the reverse effect on City in the first half. Once again Mohamed Salah was in the thick of the action with another goal and assist, but two players who really stood out were James Milner and Trent Alexander-Arnold. Milner, especially, did not let Kevin De Bruyne out of his sight. Many simply do not appreciate what a top professional Milner is. I had a feeling Liverpool would win the first leg, but, no matter how big their advantage is, I do not believe the tie is already over. City are one of the best sides in the world, and if any team can overcome a 3-goal deficit, they can. Why I'd love to see Tottenham win the FA Cup during the years I spent at Tottenham Hotspur. The ambition was always to overhaul Arsenal and take control of North London. I left White Hart Lane in 2011, but I've continued to follow that story, and it's always interesting to see how the two teams measure up. We played Arsenal last Sunday and should have taken something off them. Stoke have always found a way of causing problems for Arsene Wenger. With Tottenham, however, it's been a different story. Spurs have given us some difficult days in the last few years, and I have come off from some games thinking they are the best team in the Premier League. They move the ball so fast and, along with Manchester City and Liverpool, I love watching them. They had a big day last weekend when winning at Chelsea, and I cannot see them finishing outside the top four. What I really want to see from them, however, is an end to the talk about them not winning trophies, and I will be rooting for them in the FA Cup. I know how much it would mean to Tottenham to win some silverware. I played in the 2010 FA Cup semi-final against Portsmouth, and that day was a killer. I hit a post and had a goal disallowed in a match we lost 2-0 but should have won. That was as close as we got to winning anything. Tottenham have made themselves regulars in the top four, but they are too good not to have medals. I know what the outside view of Tottenham used to be. Jamie Carragher used to say at Liverpool they'll blow up. They always do. But I also know how much they want that to change. I will be doing all I can to beat them this afternoon, but, once that is out the way, I will be hoping the power shift in North London gets a silver seal. Farewell, Ray, a true legend, and a lovely fella. There is no getting away from the saddest story of the week. You will have seen many emotional tributes to Ray Wilkins, following his untimely death at the age of 61. And they are all sincere. I never had the privilege to work with Ray, but I saw him play for Queen's Park Rangers when I was a kid, and he was a legend. He would be in the middle of the park, bossing games with the quality of his passing and his intelligence. You could see he would be a coach one day. He used to live close by me, and whenever I bumped into him, Ray would always want to talk football and be genuinely enthusiastic. He would listen to what you had to say, and offer you some advice if he thought you needed it. His words were always insightful. He just loved football. Other people have articulated their feelings better than I ever could, from Jody Morris, Nigel Quashie and John Terry, but I will say is that he was a player of great distinction. More than that, he was a lovely, lovely fella. My thoughts go out to his family and many, many friends. What I have been up to, the family left me at home for Easter, so I have had the challenge of fending for myself while they have been on holiday. I would not say that the meals have been particularly good in their absence, but the positive side is the fact that my golf handicap has been coming down very nicely. WHO's caught my eye. Trent Alexander-Arnold, a brilliant performance against Manchester City. I have been watching him all season, and I think he will go to the top. He is a kid with talent and a brilliant attitude. What I'm listening to. Festival season will soon be upon us. The Isle of Wight is one of my favorites, and they announced their lineup for this June. So I have been reacquainting myself with those acts who will be headlining: The Killers, Kasabian, and Liam Gallagher. Not bad at all. Next up for me, it is one of the best nights TV of the year on Sunday. I am a fair weather golfer when it comes to playing, but I love watching it and will be glued to the conclusion of the Masters. We had a sweep at Stoke, and, to everyone's delight, I picked out Martin Kaymer and Fred Couples. I also had a little investment on Rory McIlroy and Ian Poulter.